The scriptures tell us that the devil will be successful. There will be a one-world government. In spite of all the barriers to it, in spite of the difficulty of establishing it, it will happen. I'm personally convinced that the only reason that it will happen is because God wills it. I don't see how it is possible, from a human point of view, to unite this fractured people, these fractured members of the human race, into a unified government. We know all things are under the sovereign control of God. He wants it that way. God himself wants the world to establish a one-world government. The scriptures tell us quite a bit about that one-world government that will come. He who is the head of it will be called Antichrist. Who he is, where he lives, how he will come to power, all those questions are unanswered. That isn't because the Lord doesn't want us to know. But the coming of the Antichrist will be so much the fulfillment of Scripture that every child of God will recognize him for what he truly is at the inception of his rule. There are many lesser antichrists. John tells us in his first epistle, Antichrist is always in the world. I remember years ago when I was working in one of our congregations on I think it was a classical appointment, I'm sure it was. Kennedy was shot and killed. One of the old elders of the church, himself, almost uneducated, came up to me and said to me, God took that Antichrist away. He's not the one who is coming. What he meant was, of course, John F. Kennedy, martyr that he has become in this world today, is enshrined in the memories of men as a manifestation of what Antichrist will be like. I fear the same for our present president. Not at all reluctant to tell you that I personally have a very great struggle with keeping the fifth commandment. When a man like Barack Obama occupies the White House. And the only thing that makes it possible for me, even to keep the fifth commandment in a minimal way, is the words of the Lord himself. When you live respecting, obeying, honoring those in authority, you are giving respect and obedience and honor to me. I have put him in power. I will use him at my discretion. I will get rid of him when he has fulfilled my purpose. Honor him, because in honoring him, you will honor me, who am the sovereign. If it were not for that, I would be guilty of terrible violations of the fifth commandment, I assure you. And that wasn't only the case with our present president, that was the case also with the president who preceded him, and the lesser or younger Bush. Today, the forces that are at work towards a one-world government are powerful. And it seems to me irreversible. The tide is flowing in the direction of a one-world government with such force that they cannot be reversed. There are many things that are involved in this, many things that are clearly indicated. One thing is the intertwining of the economies of every nation under heaven, with the effect that the economy of one nation of importance cannot collapse without it having profound effect upon every nation of the world. Worldwide trade, worldwide economic dependence, worldwide cooperation that will not change and cannot be changed are powerful, powerful movements in the direction of a one-world government. That's the case here in Europe with the common market. It's an economic union above all else, but it's a powerful step in the direction of the kingdom of Antichrist. There is perpetually talk in our own country of a union of all the countries of North America, Canada, Mexico, and the United States in particular. And all the talk is not because there are any threats of war at present between these three countries, but because the economies of all three countries are so intertwined that it is all but impossible to untangle the threads and separate them once again. Economic union leads inevitably to political union. Another very powerful instrument in the development of a one-world government is the extent of worldwide communications. I can write a letter to a person on the other side of the globe and have an answer in 5 minutes, if that person is sitting at his computer anyway. Such are the nature of modern means of communication. And computer, email, and the internet is but a small part of the power of international communications. Wireless, shortwave, satellites, broadcasting, signals, pictures, messages, and all the rest. The result is what one man, one author called the homogenization of the nations. The world is being homogenized. That is, when milk is delivered from the barn to the dairy, the milk is homogenized. There is no separation between cream and skimmed milk. They're mixed. It's all alike. It's all the same. So it is with the nations. Individual characteristics of the nations are disappearing because of the onslaught of such things as television, the internet, radio broadcasts, and the like. All of these things make a one-world government almost inevitable. Almost inevitable. Those are forces that are moving in the direction of what Scripture calls history ending in a one-world government. We know, without going into any more detail about these things, we know that the anti-Christian kingdom, which is the realization of this one-world government, is a kingdom which truly embraces the whole world. Scripture makes that very clear in its description of the Antichrist. When it speaks of the healing of the wound that was unto death, and all the world wondered after the beast.